Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back to the finale. Part 2 of the finale of Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. When I last left you guys, we defeated Graham, and we found out we were Dracula, which, you know, big shocker, I guess. You'll see my portrait is now changed on this pause screen here, too. We also were confronted by our friend Julius, who is the strongest Belmont in existence, and we had to beat him to get here. But he went easy on us, so that happens. At any rate, we are in the Chaotic Realm. This is the last part of the game, the last area of the quote-unquote castle, even though we're not in the castle anymore. If we were, we had 100% completion on it, which is cool. Something I wanted to show you really quick is the bestiary here. I'm going to go through. We are at 96.4% soul collection. We are missing 4 things. So you'll see that the bolded, filled-in monsters are the ones we have souls for. A grayed out name, it means we don't have the soul yet, and then a question mark is something we haven't encountered yet. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages of collected souls. There's a question mark here. That's because it's only encountered in the Chaotic Realm. We haven't seen it yet. And then this last page, we have the Final Guard, which we've encountered but haven't gotten the soul for. You'll see it resists bloody everything. And there's 2 other monsters. So there's a total of 3 monsters in the Chaotic Realm only that we haven't gotten to see yet. And then the Final Guard we haven't got a soul for yet. And then the last page is just Belmont and Graham. You'll see Belmont's description is that he's the most powerful vampire hunter. That is true. Canonically, Julius is not only the last of the Belmont lineage up to this point canonically, but he's also the most powerful Belmont to have ever existed. So, yeah, the fact that we beat him is pretty impressive. And then we have Graham, who sucked, and we don't care. So that's it. We have 4 souls to grab, and that will be 100% completion. And as I mentioned last time, we actually do get something for getting 100% soul collection. It's not just a trophy, it's like a legit thing you get to do. So here's the save room. Let's go ahead and get healed up real quick and save our game. And then we'll go to the right this time. So yep, here we are, the Chaotic Realm. It finally tells us that's what it's called. This is a dead-end room with nothing in it. You can't actually, like, dive off the side of the wall here. That'd be kind of stupid. The thing with the Chaotic Realm, all of the rooms in the Chaotic Realm are based off of rooms that exist in the castle, but as you can see, they're all grayed out, like bleached pretty much. And the monsters you encounter are going to be different. But other than that, they're pieced together parts of the castle, except for these little end cap rooms, I guess. But this was from the Underground Reservoir. You might recognize we have Rubicon in here. Instead of, I believe, Cagnazzo was here in the actual room. There's beam skeletons here, which I can kill them one hit now, which is cool. Sadly, there is no map in the Chaotic Realm. You're just kind of on your own. But thankfully, the Chaotic Realm is very linear. There's very little in the way of, like, side areas or, like, side paths. And if they are, they're very small. Get him out of the way. Grab a free mana prism. That's another good place to farm that guy if you didn't already get him, but we'll go up here. That's a dead crusader. Out of my way, sir. That's another end cap room. Come on. There you go. More beam skeleton. Mostly arena enemies are going to be, because the arena's one of the hardest areas of the game, barring the top floor. And they have a lot in common in terms of enemy placement. And enemy types. I don't need the Soul Eater ring yet because we haven't found anything we need to farm a soul for, but that will change pretty quick. Let's jump in through here. This is the only other gladiator in the game. If you didn't get that first one from the arena, this is the only other place to get one. There's a basilisk in here. Whoops. Stupid gladiator, get out of my way. Yep, basilisk. So there's a lot of the top floor enemies I probably could have waited to farm until we got here, but I didn't want to wait, really. There's another end cap right here. I don't know why that's there. Just to be annoying, I guess. We'll ignore those for now. We don't need to worry about them. Moving on. Oh, I guess... Okay, yeah, I guess I could have farmed the giant skeleton here, and I would have gotten it anyway. Wow, jeez, that would have saved me some time. I forgot. I guess that one I encountered was not the only one. I completely blanked and forgot about that. Here we go. This is a room that's going to have one of the new monsters. So we'll throw on the Gremlin, we'll throw on Flame Demon, and we'll throw on the Soul Eater Ring. Maybe I'll get lucky and get him the first time I go through it. He's right... Nope, not that one. He's right down here. There he is. This is very similar to the Nemesis in that it's a disembodied spirit holding a sword. This is Alistair. And he did not drop his soul. Alistair is only in the Chaotic Realm. Takes quite a bit of a beating to kill, and he also hits pretty darn hard with that sword of his. But he's ultimately not super duper difficult. He just takes a few hits is all. Come on. He does a really cool noise when he dies, too. Yeah, anyway, so he's creepy. So he is one of the 3 Chaotic Realm only monsters, and the first one we encountered. The other 2 are a little more intimidating. As if this thing wasn't scary enough, right? The other 2 were actually worse in terms of power. They are very cool, though. Alistair is really neat. It's just a heavily beefed up version of the Nemesis. I would love it if he would drop his bloody soul right now. I guess he's not bloody at all. He's like a disembodied spirit, but still. We have Aranus here blocking our way, too, because... Oh, man, he lunges really far with that thing. In fact, why don't we go look and see what's up there, because there's a side path to what would be Death's room, but I forget what's in here. It's an end cap. I should have known. It's always an end cap. Let's Flame Demon him and see what happens. Oh, jeez! Okay, he flies across the room at you. That's neat. Alistair's soul is actually pretty cool. You'll remember there's a couple of monsters that I've gotten souls for that summon familiars. Like the Imp, for example, and Alistair's soul actually is also a familiar. So you'll have this disembodied sword following you around. Hey, speaking of which, summons Alistair the Familiar. Let's take a look at that, shall we? So if I turn him on, I just have this disembodied sword following me around. Wow, he actually doesn't use that much mana to use him either. I might just keep him on there for now. And he'll just fly around the screen and swing at stuff on its own. It's really neat. I'm kind of killing everything a little too quickly for it, but it's still neat. This is very similar to the Sword Familiar in Symphony of the Night, actually. It does much the same thing. This should be a save room, I think. This is actually conveniently in the exact same place that it would be. You'll see saving turns off my familiar, but that's alright. We'll turn it back on. And down here we got... Oh, that was a Mimic! Okay, I guess there's more than one of those that exists, too. You know, I keep forgetting what's in the Chaotic Realm because you don't get to go here very often, and it's at the very end of the game, and I tend to forget what's in it, so... there's another Aranus. We don't need to worry about her. But this room will have monster number 2 of the Chaotic Realm only monsters, and that's going to be right about... Well, let's see what's over here first. It should be right up here. Yep, there he is. The Demon Lord. And he's very similar to the Archdemon, and I'm hoping he's not in the way that he's going to take forever to farm his bloody soul. But he is a very large demon, hits pretty hard, takes a few hits to kill. Yeah, there's always that. Always fun. And yeah, he's a bit intimidating. That giant fireball that he was about to cast there would have really hurt. Something to the effect of like 100 and something damage. Even with all my protection that I have, it still would do that much. So we're going to sit here and grind on his soul for a minute, if at all possible. I'm hoping it doesn't take that long, like I said. We got Alistair pretty quick, so I'm hoping that Demon Lord doesn't take that long. But since this is a finale, we're going to go as long as we need to grab his soul. For those who were curious, I actually can go back to the proper castle and get back and get any souls that I missed. I'm not stuck in here in the Chaotic Realm until I win. I can go back whenever I want. I don't think I'll need to, but... Oh, look, a free mana prism. That's nice of him. Ow. With the hands, man. So this would be the ideal time to do soul farming, when you've already beaten, you know, Graham and Julius. You have the Black Panther soul. You can kind of glide around the map at your leisure, and you have full access to everything. Because honestly, getting Alistair and the Demon Lord and this last monster right at the end of the game doesn't really benefit you all that much because you don't have anything to use them on. I mean, Alistair arguably is pretty useful for the final boss fight, so I guess you'd have it for that. But I don't think the Demon Lord has all that useful of a soul. And I know the last monster that we haven't encountered yet does not have a very useful one either. So really, they only exist for the sake of challenge. Oh, there we go, Demon Lord. Unleashes a furious barrage of magic. What does that do? I'm curious. Demon Lord. Oh, that's just the hellfire that Dracula does. That's interesting. Okay. Fun fact, something I don't think I showed you guys. Actually, no, I might have. I'm not sure. Let's find out. If you have the Flame Demon and the Giant Bat equipped, you can actually use the Flame Demon Soul as a bat. No? Can you not do that? Oh, you know what it is? I'm thinking of Symphony of the Night. I'm sorry. Disregard. You can't do that in this one. In Symphony of the Night, you can, though. There's an item, like you can turn into a bat in Symphony of the Night as Alucard because, well, he's a Dhampir. Of course he can turn into a bat. But there's an item you get, I think it's Power of Bat or Flame of Bat or something like that. But it lets you cast that 3 fireball spell as a bat. And it's very cool. I thought you could do it in this game too. I guess I was mistaken, but that's alright. I need Skula for this, unfortunately. So where is Skula? There it is. Doo-doo. Triton is here again. He dies in 2 hits now. And all these fish heads that die in 1 swing because they're vulnerable to light. Because they're undead. I play clerics a lot in Pathfinder / D&D, so I'm really big on the idea of... I play clerics and paladins, so I'm really big on the idea of killing undead. I like the idea of having light element stuff because it just straight up murders undead and demons and that kind of thing. Back in the day when I played World of Warcraft, I know I talked a little bit about that once upon a time, but my main character in World of Warcraft was a priestess. And I initially built... back before I really knew how to play World of Warcraft, my first character was a mage, and I didn't know how to play a mage, and I got my butt kicked, and I wasn't having fun. And then I remember I was in an area leveling up, and I ran into a priest, like another player who was playing a priest, and they were holy smiting everything. And I'm like, that's awesome! Like, I forewent the idea of using fireballs and ice bolts and everything as a mage, and I'm like, holy smite sounds way more fun. So I rolled a priest, and that became my main character, and she was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I remember I surprised the heck out of my friends who got me into that game, because I leveled from 1 all the way to max level by myself as a holy priest. And those of you who have played that are probably like, wait, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, that sounds crazy, because here's the best place to farm Final Guard is right here, by the way. It's just him in this one little room. Leveling up as a holy priest is insane, because it's not the damage-centric specialization for a priest. It is very much the healing subtype for priests, obviously. That's what priests do, is they heal, right? So, generally speaking, you play a holy priest when you're doing dungeons and endgame content and you're healing your party members. You're not doing damage that way. But I leveled up entirely, killing enemies, doing quests as a holy priest, and it blew my friends' minds. They're like, what? Are you kidding me? And that's because I had so much fun holy smiting everything. And if those of you are curious, the preferred option for leveling as a priest is playing a shadow priest, because that one is much more focused on dealing damage to things, because you're harnessing the power of shadow magic. But me being the massive role-playing nerd that I am, I didn't like the idea of playing a shadow priest, because I'm like, I don't want to be a dark priest. I want to be the kind that, you know, vanquishes the demons and the undead and holy smites things and brings justice to them. And I was role-playing it way too hard. I've since come around to realize that shadow is obviously the preferred method for leveling as a priest, but I had so much fun holy smiting everything, I just didn't care. So when I play role-playing games like Pathfinder, D&D, that kind of deal, or even, I guess really role-playing games in general, I tend to play divine and divine holy characters, like so paladins, clerics, priests, that kind of deal. Those are my favorite classes to play. I very much enjoy role-playing that kind of a character. I get a big kick out of that. And I like to think that's how I am in reality, to a certain extent, in that I very much like the idea of being the supporting member of the party. You know, that's making everybody better and healing them and taking care of them if they get hurt. In reality, I'm not like that at all. I don't like people in real life. And I know that sounds terrible, but I'm an introvert by nature, obviously. But I'm also a bit of a cynic, unfortunately, and that's a product of my environment more than anything else. A lot of interactions that I have with people tend to go very negatively because, well, people are jerks, unfortunately. And I realize I'm saying that to a bunch of people on the internet that I don't know in real life and probably will never meet, but... And it's not that I immediately think you're a jerk, by the way, if you're watching this. That's not necessarily true. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But, you know, I don't have a very high opinion of people. Unless I get to know them. Generally speaking, if I get to know somebody, I will come around to liking them quite a bit more, unless they're genuinely a dick. Then I don't care. Case in point, one of my last jobs, I worked with a bunch of people who were just absolute jerkwads. Like, they were not the kind of people you'd want to associate with. And I was not a fan of them at all. Thankfully, I'm not working that job anymore, so it's not a big deal. But there are genuinely people out there who are just jerks and not nice people, and I don't like them. But, you know, it's weird, though, right? Because in my real life, I don't like people very much. But in a role-playing setting, my preferred thing is to be that character who helps and heals and protects and defends people and brings justice and righteousness and healing to the world and vanquishes everything that, you know, represents death and injustice and evil and that kind of thing. So, in a certain way, I guess the way that I think about it is that's what I really would like to be in real life, is more of that kind of a person. But because this is reality and not a role-playing game, reality has a tendency of hitting me in the face and making me realize that the world is not as I would like it to be, and people are not inherently necessarily nice people. A lot of people are jerks, especially nowadays with the internet, when people can freely be jerks as much as they want in anonymity. So it's one of those trade-offs, I guess, and it's upsetting, but the way that I escape that reality is to play characters that are, you know, defenders of the people and very righteous, pious people and that kind of thing. And I really enjoy that. I enjoy it a lot. And that's also why, this is going to sound weird, I have a really hard time playing bad characters in RPGs. So, for example, those of you who have ever played Knights of the Old Republic, which is a Star Wars RPG, I'm sure you've heard of it. Everybody's played KOTOR, right? If I play KOTOR, I exclusively go light side. Always. I just can't not. And I've tried a couple of times to go dark side and be just a jerk to people and be evil. I can't do it. I just can't. I have a really difficult time being a jerk to people and playing the whole game that way, and I don't like it. So everyone's like, oh, dark side's so much fun. You get to beat up people, you get to steal all their stuff, and it's awesome. And it's like, yeah, that sounds cool, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I just can't. And everyone's like, well, you're just a wuss. And it's like, it's not me being a wuss, it's that my personality doesn't like... As much as I don't have a great deal of appreciation for people in real world, I don't want to see people harmed. I don't want people to be the victim of poor circumstances. I don't wish bad things upon people, unless they cut me off on the highway or something. But, you know, I don't hate people, I just don't like people very much. And that's fine. As long as people leave me alone, I will tolerate them. That's perfectly acceptable. And if I actually want to get to know somebody, I will take the time to do that. But for the most part, if I don't know people, I'll just stay away from people. and mind my own business. And I'm like to think I'm pretty good at minding my own business. I've been doing it for a long time, so this final guard is going to be very stingy with his soul, I have a pretty good feeling. Because he usually is. And of course, there's no easy way to kill one of these things because they resist everything. And they have a boatload of hit points. Thankfully, he's not doing a ton of damage to me. I can dodge most of his attack. Then he does this crap. When he puts his shield out like that... Oh, there we go. Look at that. See, you complain enough, you get what you want. The final guard soul, sadly, is not very good. That's alright, though. So, that's it. We only have one soul left to get. And that is this one question mark enemy right here that we haven't encountered yet. And that will be it. Aranus is a good soul, by the way. It increases your experience points by 20%. It says 120%. It's not. That's not true. It just multiplies your experience gain by 120%, which means it's a 20% gain. Oh, good. The Chaotic Clock Tower. Complete with Medusa heads. And more flying enemies, even though they're not Valkyries. They're, well, now it's a water area. Which I don't need Skula for. I'm just going to float to the top. I'm not going to bother with Alistair. We've already got his soul, and I don't really want to fight him right now. That's an Iron Golem, so Killer Mantle time. Oh, nice. Free Iron Golem soul. Don't mind if I do. So, oh, here we go. This is the last one. So, we'll put on... You know, let's put on Flame just for the kicks of it. So this is it, right? It's the last monster I need to kill to get the soul from. This is the Shadow Knight. And he's awesome. Looks super cool. So, here's another contradiction with me. You just heard me talk a lot about how I play divine-inspired characters, holy clerics and paladins and that kind of a deal. And I'm like, oh, I won't play a shadow priest because I don't want to be a dark priest, that kind of a deal. I love, like, dark, shadowy things almost as much as I love holy to a certain... It's gotta be the right kind of shadow, right? So, my mantra, as you're aware, or my moniker, rather, online is Seraphim, which is, you know, angelically inspired. And by the way, before I get anybody commenting why it's Seraphim with an N and not an M, I'm aware of that. I did it on purpose. So, there's that. At any rate, before I adopted that name, I went by Shadow Ghoul, and the reason why I did that is because, well, I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! In high school, and that happens to be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. I actually still have the thing, believe it or not. But that being said, I also was really into the whole, like, darkness of the void kind of deal, like the shadow, like the emptiness kind of shadow, not like the void kind of shadow, not, you know, shadow for the sake of being dark kind of deal. So this kind of thing, and by the way, this looks freaking awesome. I love that Shadow Knight design. It looks amazing. And I was very into that too when I was younger. I've, you know, not quite as much anymore nowadays, but I still like it a lot. You'll see this Shadow Knight dies a lot easier than the Final Guard does because he's actually weak to Holy rather than resisting it. So he won't be that challenging to get rid of. And again, he just looks freaking awesome. And he hits pretty darn hard, actually. I probably shouldn't be sitting there like that. But there's not very many easy ways to get through him, his armor at any rate. And he'll just walk right into you. He doesn't care. You saw that Final Guard did not, like, actively walk into me. He stayed a step back and smacked at me instead with his sword. Shadow Knight will just walk into you and go, get out my way. He does not give a crap. You'll notice that there's a lot of these, or not, I guess not a lot of them, but there's a handful of these suits of armor, like animated suits of armor monsters. Like there was the Great Armor, there's the Final Guard, there's the Shadow Armor. There's one other one, wasn't there? Maybe that's it. But there's some of my favorite looking enemies, and they're really cool. They're also very challenging. But anyway, I know it's a contradiction, at least it sounds like it, but I'm just as much of a fan as like these gothic, shadowy, creepy looking things as I am the divinely inspired stuff. Like, it's almost as much fun for me. Like, I do dabble in, like, art sometimes. Like, I'll do some custom drawings and things. I'm not super talented, but I like to do it. But I like drawing angels. I like drawing paladins in full armor. I like drawing that kind of stuff. But I enjoy just as much drawing, like, demons and, you know, gothic, evil-looking things like castles and the occult kind of stuff. More gothic-inspired stuff. Like, so that's why I like Castlevania so much. I'm really into the whole, you know, gothic horror evil kind of deal, vampires and monsters and that kind of thing. I get just as much enjoyment out of doing out of that kind of medium as I do from angels and goddesses and divine paladins and that kind of deal. So it sounds like a contradiction, I know, but they're both really cool, and I like them both, so deal with it. I'm trying to get this guy to drop his bloody soul, and he just does not want to, apparently, but it's the last one, so as soon as we get it, we're finished. Sadly, in order to acquire the little Easter egg you get for getting all the souls, I will have to backtrack a little bit, because it's actually toward the beginning of the realm. In fact, I think it's the door right next to the very beginning. That little end cap. So we'll have to go back to get it, but that's not going to be that difficult. At least it shouldn't be. Come on, Shadow Knight, give me your freaking soul. Then I can take this dumb ring off. And then put my Headhunter soul on instead of Gremlin that I've been using since the Clock Tower. 8 extra luck doesn't sound like it make that big of a difference, and probably in the grand scheme of things it probably doesn't. But I will take every advantage I can get to grab this last soul because I just want it. I wonder if I can use a decent soul against this guy and have him die faster. The Valkyrie might be a good idea, because that's Holy Element. Where's Valkyrie? Something else I'll probably do when we get to the bonus episode with the boss rush mode. It was requested that I show off more of the souls, because I have a lot of them, and I haven't really shown anybody what they do, a lot of them. And it was requested that I show off more of the souls. So I will do that in the bonus episode, the boss rush mode, because when you do that, you pick a save file to play it on, and you retain all of your equipment and souls. So I will have all of the souls to show you guys, and I can do that with impunity, really. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But rather than slow down the progress of me collecting the souls and slowing down the progress of the story, I'd rather do it when we're not, you know, constrained by any of that. The Valkyrie really didn't make that big of a difference, did it? I'm also realizing this is where I think this is where you fought the big golem the first time, this room anyway. Or the normal version of this room, not the chaotic version, obviously. Alright, come on, buddy. Just give me your soul, and I can get on with the rest of the game and get it done, and people will be happy, and yada yada yada. I think his soul's blue, too, so that's why it's taking so long. I told you, the blue ones take forever, and I can't figure out why the blue ones are so hard to get. I guess it's because they don't want you to have powers that are constantly active for some silly reason, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just as likely. But yeah, I love the Shadow Knight design. Super mega cool. It occurs to me that I kind of got cut off myself at the end, or just before the last finale episode. I was talking about board games that I play, and I didn't quite finish my thought with that regard. One of my favorite board games is Scythe, and that is a 4X game, and I can't remember most of them. It's exploration, exploitation, expansion, and I forget what the fourth one is. It's called 4X, it's really 4 E's, but because they all start with EX, they call it a 4X game. So the idea is you build up your, I guess, that's for lack of a better term, you build up your nation, you expand outward to explore and exploit. So, is that what it is? It's explore, expand. Yeah, there you go. It's explore, expand, exploit, and I can't remember the last one. Anyway, doesn't matter. Shadow Knight, we got him. That's it. We have all the souls, ladies and gentlemen. The bestiary is full. 100%. So, with that, we are going to backtrack a little bit, and we are going to grab the Easter egg that you get. I say Easter egg, I mean, to be fair, this is another thing that you wouldn't know to go get unless you were told, because I certainly never would have figured it out. We're actually going to leave Skula on because we're going to need it to get through the end here. I don't need Soul Eater Ring anymore, so I'll put Satan's Ring on for the extra stats. I actually need Skula right away. Go figure. Yeah, you'll notice that this is a very linear. The chaotic room is very linear. You just progress in one direction, really, the whole time. Did I go in that little side room before? I must have. That's alright. We'll just go all the way back. Da-da-da-da-da. Super duper fun. Love backtracking in video games. At any rate, so Scythe is like that. And the way that it works is it lays out on this... It's a pretty big board. But it's all hex grid based. And every player starts in their own little section, like their own little corner of the map, so to speak. I think you can have up to 7 people with the expansions in it. And you're all playing... It's like steampunky, right? So it takes place in an alternate reality post-World War I. Where... So it's like steampunky, like beginning of the 20th century. And there's steampunk mechs. And they're really cool. Like, some of the designs for those are incredible. But the whole gist of it is, it's not even really a combat-centric game, even though there's mechs in it. Like, there is combat in that game, but the majority of it is you're trying to expand your empire and collect as much resources as you can and just increase your influence as much as possible, and that's how you win. So, as much as there is combat, I have played a game of that where nobody fought each other at all. But you can. At any rate, I like it because it requires you to think a lot. Like, I love thinking games. I'm a thinking man. That's what I do. But it requires you to plan out your strategies well in advance because you can't do everything you want to do at the same time. Like, in fact, there's only so many actions you can do, and the order of actions you can do is different for every player, which sounds weird. But you can't do the same thing twice. So, like, on one turn, you want to build something. On one other turn, you might want to move people around. You can't do the same thing twice in a row. The game doesn't let you. Unless you're one of the specific empires, they can do it. But they're the only ones that can. So, you kind of have to think very far ahead about, I'm going to do this turn, and then this next turn, so I make the most efficient use of all my actions. And I'm not wasting any of my money or my resources. I'm not wasting any time. Because it's very much time is of the essence kind of a deal. If you're wasting turns doing stuff, then you're going to have a hard time. Because the first person to complete a certain set of objectives is the winner. And if you're too far behind to the point where you haven't completed a lot of objectives yet, you're going to lose a lot of points. So it's very much branch out as quick as you can and get as much resources and territory as you can as quick as you can. And if you take too long or your strategy is bad and you're inefficient, then you're going to have a bad time, and you're probably going to lose. That being said, I like to think I'm good at the game. I'm decent enough at it. However, a friend of mine slaughters me every time we play, so I'm starting to wonder about that. Anyway, this room here... Nope, maybe not. I might have forgotten what room that stupid thing is in. I might have gone way too far back already, but we'll find it. It's in one of those little end cap rooms. Maybe this is it. Nope. You'll see it when we get there. It's an item. So, I might have backtracked a little too far. I always forget where the bloody thing is. In here? Nope. So, apologies for that. This is going to be an extra long finale. It's probably going to be somewhere in the ballpark of like 45 minutes. The final boss is not super difficult. It's just a little time consuming. What's in here? Nope. Come on, where the stupid thing is. So, apologies if you were hoping for a slightly shorter finale episode, but at least you're getting an extra long one and not waiting another week to see if they got anything in the game. Because otherwise this would have taken a whole week's worth of episodes to show you guys, and that's not fun. In here, maybe? Nope. Yep, I went back way too far. That's alright. We'll just kill some more stuff. Get some more wood for the headhunter fire, so to speak. More souls, the better. Up here, maybe? Nope. There really is no point to that room, is there? That's alright. Moving on. This guy again. Silly giant skeleton. Yeah, I definitely could have waited to farm that one. It would have saved me some time. Maybe it's in Death's room. Yep, there it is. Alright, so. This is the special thing that you get only if you get 100% of the souls in the game. It is the Chaos Ring. So, the Chaos Ring is very unique in that It says it contains the power of chaos. I don't know why it gives you an extra luck point. You already have all the souls at this point. I guess luck is also used for dropping items from enemies, not just souls, so I guess it could still be useful to a certain extent. But what the Chaos Ring does, and I will show you momentarily, you have infinite mana. Infinite magic points. So I can just sit here and spam Flame Demon Soul all day long with no detriment whatsoever. That's what the Chaos Ring is for. So if you get all of the souls, you can use all of them as much as you want. That's the bonus. I probably will not be making use of it for the final boss, only because it makes it trivial. Because you just sit there and spam the Red Minotaur Soul and kill everything. So I will not be doing that, probably. Just because it wouldn't be very fun. But it is a neat little prize you get, and you get to keep it for like a New Game Plus if you do that, which you can do, by the way. So if you start a New Game Plus on hard mode, you'll have all the souls. You won't have any of your gear, but you'll have all the souls, and you'll have the Chaos Ring. So I don't know why you get the Chaos Ring. I think you do keep your equipment. I might be wrong about that. But I know on New Game Plus you keep all your souls that you got. So at the very least, I'm pretty sure you keep your Chaos Ring no matter what. You also get to keep anything you earned through the Boss Rush mode on that save file. So if you go through Boss Rush mode and get all of the exclusive things to get from that, I think there's 3 different weapons you can get from Boss Rush mode, depending on how well you do. And if you get all 3 of them, you can keep all those too. We're just going to go through and get to the end here, because we're just about done. But yeah, now I have infinite mana, which is cool. I keep saying mana, it's MP. Mana is back from my days of playing WoW. I'm just stuck on that word. I mean, there's plenty of other games that use the word mana to describe, like, your magical, you know, capacity, so to speak. But I think Warcraft is one of the most prevalent ones that does that. Anyway, so we're going to go back toward the boss. We have our Chaos Ring, which is cool. So there's literally nothing left to do in this game other than defeating the very last boss, which we're about to go do. And the last boss is not super difficult, but it can get overwhelming if you're not careful. Whoops, as I get speared off my platform by this thing. Silly Aranus. I don't even know what that means. It's got to be some kind of mythological reference, but I don't know what it is. More Clock Tower, my favorite. I know I said already that I'm not going to go through do hard mode, and I'm not going to. There's no point, because why? But if you were to go back and do hard mode, or like a New Game Plus and do hard mode, there would be a lot of equipment placement differences. So like a lot of the weapons that I found in certain places either would not be there, they'd be moved, or they'd be replaced by something else. Because there's actually a lot of gear that is hard mode exclusive, and it replaces some of the normal mode stuff. So if you're one of those people that's like a completionist or a collector and wants to have every item in the game, you would need to collect everything for normal mode and then not sell most of it, and then go through and get all the hard mode stuff. Oh geez, there's enemies all over the place. No, get out my way! I'm getting killed over here by Alistair Demon Lord Team Up. Not a great duo. I don't like you guys. No offense. Man, the arena gets pretty nasty if you're not careful. Oh, it's Succubus again. Cool. Would you stop with that, lady? You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to put Succubus of my own on so I can heal when I hit people. That's always useful. Or when I hit candlesticks, apparently, too. Seriously, a very useful soul, really. Stop it. Silly succubi. Anyway, moving on. Oh, more Shadow Knight. I thought there was only the one for some reason. So yeah, if you're a completionist or a collector and you want to have all the things, you just need to make sure you are careful and don't lose things from normal mode that you can't get back in normal mode again. So you gotta be careful. That's that a mimic again? It sure is. Even in the same bloody room, even. Like, really? I don't know why I thought there's only one mimic in the whole game. There's not. There's like 3. There's Schooler room. You know what though? Hold on a second, because there's actually a hidden room in here in the real castle. Is there one here too? No, there's not. All right, just making sure. Oh, there it is. So we're going to throw on Headhunter. As soon as I can find the thing. Here it is. That's a flat 14-point boost to all my stats, which is nice. We don't really need Giant Bat, but there's not... You know what? I'll throw Alistair on. I'll use him. That's fun. And I'm going to use Red Minotaur because its OP is snot. Where is that thing? Red Minotaur. This list is so bloody long now, you gotta go scroll through to find everything. We'll leave Eversing on, we'll leave Cleave Sullish on. Chaos Ring, you know... I'm not gonna cheese it and go infinite mana with Red Minotaur because that's just stupid, so we'll throw on Satan's Ring to get some more stats out of it. And this is the last save room. What level am I, like 65, I think? 70. Level 70, wow. The highest you can go is 99, if you were curious. Generally speaking, if you can beat the game pretty easily at, like, you know, between 50 and 60, so I'm a little over leveled, but that's fine. Just means I won't die as quickly. So here we are, folks. This is it. This is the last boss of the game and the true finale. So here we are. Here we go. The obligatory, you're not alone, you have all your friends here kind of deal. Bull crap, they're all like, oh no, he's terrifying. Really? He let us win, though. I'm counting on you. I don't know if I'd call Arikado our friend, really, at this point. I mean, Mina's definitely our friend, but... Alright, here we go. This is it. The last boss. This is Chaos. Oh yeah, for this first part, you actually get all your souls stolen. So you don't have any souls for this first part. And as you break these little containers that they all got taken out of, you will get that color of them back. So if you break the yellow ones first, you get all your yellow souls. Break the blue one, you get all your blue souls back. Break the red one, you get all your red souls back. That kind of a deal. I'm getting my butt handed to me because I'm not dodging properly. I probably should be avoiding that creepy monster thing. So we got our yellow souls back, we got our blue souls back, we got our red souls back. There we go. Apparently I spread it around pretty evenly. That's the first phase of this boss. Not too bad. Again, I was just kind of wailing on everything. And then this is the final form of Chaos. It has these 4 eyes in the corner that we should focus on killing first. And then it has this creepy looking snake monster thing floating around the map here on the corners. The eyes are more threatening, I think, immediately. And as you kill them, these little green orbs stop spawning out of them as much, I guess, quote unquote. Looks like you can beat them back, but I don't know if you can actually kill... Yeah, I guess you can. That's 2 eyes dead. We got 2 more in the top there to take care of. The true boss, however, is the center, that black orb. That's where the true heart of Chaos resides, and that's actually what you should be hitting, but again, I'm dealing with these eyes first because I don't want them to be in my way. Whack these orbs away. I guess I'll get some hits in on Chaos while I'm doing it. That eye is dead. We just got the top right one. You see that snake thing is kind of floating around. It goes in and out of the foreground and the background, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's actually going to hit you or not. Like, right there, I think it would have. I think only the head actually is capable of hurting you. Alright, so the eyes are all dead. Now we can focus on the center, the heart, so to speak, of the Chaos entity. Just kind of wail on it, and it's dead. Yeah, ultimately not a difficult boss fight. It's a little disappointing. Honestly, I think I would have been okay with Julius being the final boss. But that's it. That was the source of Dracula's chaos and really the source of his power. And you'll see the castle just kind of implodes on itself. Because its source of power is destroyed and disappears. Bye! It actually, what happens is it gets sucked back into the eclipse, really, is what's going on. So this is the true ending of the game. We unlocked it because we beat the Chaos boss. Yoko has to go. Aw. Hey, much obliged for your business. That one ring you bought, I can retire on that. He wasn't really fighting anyway. He was shopper the whole time he was here. I'll give you a good deal. You fought well. Oh, Vampire Killer's power is fading away. The path you took was the most challenging one. You did well. For God to be good, evil is an absolute necessity in this world. I think that's a good point, actually. That's a pretty philosophical point. Someone may follow again in Dracula's dark footsteps. Well, we are Dracula. In my mother's name, I send thanks to you. What does that mean, I wonder? Some of you are going, duh, I know what it means. Listen. And Mina's like, wake up. Hey, we're back outside the castle, and we're not, you know, Dracula-fied anymore. Oh, pfft. I may not be evil anymore. Barf. Anyway. So there's that. The true ending of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. We got 100% soul completion in addition to that, which I'm pretty proud of. It was a lot of work, but if anybody is ever planning on going off on such an adventure themselves, now you have a better idea of, I guess, the best ways to farm some of the souls. No matter what you do, though, some of them just take forever. There's nothing you can do about it. And even if you get, you know, sometimes you'll get incredibly lucky, other times you just get absolutely wrecked, and it just takes forever, and it's not fun. So, I guess, embark on that particular path if you are so inclined, but take it with a grain of salt that it's gonna be a long slog. It's gonna be a long slog. It's all luck based. There's nothing you can do about it. There's things you can do to mitigate the luck based thing a little bit, but even still, some of the more, you know, frustrating drop rates are like less than 0.5%. And having high luck and having the Soul Eater ring is maybe increasing that by about 3 or 4% ultimately. So it's still a really small drop rate. But at any rate, that's pretty much all you can do in the game. I'll do the boss rush mode in another bonus episode, and I'll show off all the spirits that we didn't get to see, like what they do and everything. And then that'll be the end of that. And then you'll really have seen pretty much all there is in the game. As I said, hard mode doesn't really offer much different. There's more items to pick up, more gear, more weapons, but really it's only like maybe like 7 or 8 different things. There's a better gun you can get. There's a couple of better swords. I know Death's Scythe is in hard mode, and that is really good for soul farming if you didn't already do it. But at any rate, like I said, hard mode's not any different gameplay wise, apart from different gear. So I'll show off boss rush mode in the bonus episode, show off the rest of the souls. But as for the main game itself, that is it, everybody. We have finished it. That is the end of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. That is the true ending. As I said, if you didn't do that proper setup of souls when fighting Graham, he would have just stopped right there. Soma would have become Dracula, and Julius would have killed him. There also actually is another bad ending. If you get to that chaos fight and you lose, then Soma will be seen back on Dracula's throne, and Julius comes in, he's like, I'm here to kill you, because you screwed up and you died and you failed. So those are the two bad endings, and then the one we got is because we used the proper setup of souls for Graham, we beat him, and we also beat Chaos. So, if you were curious, that's what the 3 endings are. At any rate, that is it for Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Stay tuned next time for the boss rush mode that I'll show off real quick, and also doing some soul demonstrations. And then we'll be done. That'll be the end of this playthrough. So if you're intent on stick around for that, please feel free. If not, then I'll see you in the next playthrough. Whatever that ends up being. I haven't decided yet. So Thank you all very much for watching up until this point. I really do appreciate it if you stuck around this long. And even if you didn't, you're just tuning in for the one-off, then nice to see you. At any rate, this is it. We're done with Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, so moving on to the next thing next time. Until then, thank you all very much. As I said, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.